Hi everyone, today's video is going to be another book shopping and book haul video. If you've seen me filming in this spot before, you might notice that I have some new bookshelves behind me. I'm usually a big Kindle reader, but since I started filming these videos back in September, I've collected quite a few books and I just like having the physical copies of books now. So my plan today is to buy quite a few books that I've been after for a little while so that I can then film a video organising these bookshelves and making them look nice. As you can see, I've just sort of thrown them anywhere on the shelves at the moment. So I'm going to go into London today because I want to go to the Waterstones at Piccadilly Circus, which is meant to have 5 or 6 floors. So I'm confident that they'll have most of the books I'm after, and then I can also make a day of it. I'd also like to go to Daunt Books, which is in Marylebone High Street. If you've seen any videos of people book shopping in London before, you might recognise this shop because it's a very popular spot for book lovers to go to. It's this really old Edwardian building and it has this big area inside with like a skylight and 2 floors. And yeah, it just looks really pretty, and I think they're kind of well known as well for their tote bags, so I might pick one of those up as well. So I want to go to the Waterstones at Piccadilly Circus and Daunt Books in Marylebone, and I think we're also going to head to Covent Garden first to get something to eat. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking and let's head into London. Okay, time for the book haul. You know it's a good shopping day when you come away with 2 bags of books. It is a couple days later now. We ended up walking around London for much longer than we had planned and got back quite late. So these bags have been sitting here for a couple of days and I've just been itching to get into them. And it's also a very sunny day today. So if I'm extremely backlit, I apologise. But yeah, I've tried to do the best I can with the camera settings. But yeah, so we went to the Waterstones at Piccadilly Circus, which had a lot more selection than our local Waterstones. Also, it had more copies of the same books. So if you're someone like me who is very fussy and likes to pick up the best book they have without any scuffs or like dints on it, it's definitely the place for you, because I was able to dig through all the books they had and pick out the best one. That might just be me, I'm extremely fussy, but yeah, so I really enjoyed that Waterstone store. But we did also go and look at Daunt Books in Marylebone, but it's more of a travel books store and non-fiction. So if you're in London, I'd definitely recommend going there still, because it's a beautiful like old Edwardian building. There's a section where there's like 2 layers and this big skylight coming through, and from the outside it's so unassuming you wouldn't realise that there's this like big section in there. So yeah, it's just really cool to look at. So if you're in London, definitely recommend going to look at it. They do have a small like romance, fantasy, YA section, but you will be like squeezing past people to get to them because yeah, it's just really small, cozy in that section and quite cramped, but it just looks so nice in there that it's worth a visit. And from the outside as well, it looks amazing. It's on Marylebone High Street, which is a really nice high street and only a 20-minute walk from Oxford Circus. If you're you're a book lover, I would definitely recommend going to check it out. So I didn't get any books from there, but I did pick up the tote bag, which I saw all over Instagram quite a while ago now. It's just a really well-made tote bag, and it's got the bookshop on the front of it, so you can see there, that's what the bookshop looks like from the outside. Yeah, it's a very cute, cool bookshop, nice tote bag, but more importantly, the books. So let's get into all the books that I bought at Waterstones. I'm gonna get them out of their bags so that you don't hear all the rustling as I'm going through these. So I'm typically more of a fantasy reader. I've only read one romance book so far, but I've ended up coming away with more romance books than fantasy, which I'm not mad about because I definitely want to get more into romance this year, especially going into like spring and summer and over Valentine's Day. I'm just in the mood to try out a lot of different romance books. So the majority we have here is romance, but I did pick up 3 fantasy books, so I'll go through those quickly first. First up, we have Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. Here you go. And this is the second book in the Shepherd King duology. So I read the first book, which is One Dark Window, a couple months ago, and I've been wanting to pick up the second book since then. This is like a gothic fantasy. It's set in an eerie kingdom that's like covered in this mist that's making people sick. It's very magical. In the first book, we follow the main girl, Elspeth, who caught the sickness from the mist, and we follow her on this mission with this group of people to try and rid the kingdom of this mist. There's a really cool magical system in this book, which is based around playing cards. So it's like a deck of cards, and each one has a different power, and if you touch them, it will give you that power. There's something different about Elspeth. She also has a monster inside her head, which she calls the Nightmare, and that is my favourite part of the first book because they just have these funny little interactions. I was really giggling at their conversations with each other. The monster's in her head, so no one else can hear or see him. She could be in a room full of people and she'd just be having this conversation in her head with Monster, and yeah, no one else is any the wiser. Really good book, really eerie, really interesting, magical, fantastical, funny as well, and it left on a really big cliffhanger. So that's why I've been really eager to pick up the second book, because I want to see where it goes from where the first book left off. Really happy about this one. Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. And then the next 2 fantasy books I got are part of, I think it's going to be a trilogy. They are the Emily Wilde Encyclopedia of Fairies and Map of the Neverlands book. So this is the first book, this is the second book in the series. And the covers are just so beautiful in these books, like the foiling, the little illustrations. This is the main reason I wanted them, because they just look so cute. The first book, Encyclopedia of Fairies, I've heard quite a lot about. I believe we follow Emily Wilde, who is like a researcher, and she's creating an encyclopedia of fairies, as the name suggests. So I believe we follow her on her travels as she goes around learning more about fairies to write this book. And yeah, I've heard it's just a very chilled, low stakes, cozy fantasy. I wanted to pick it up before spring, because I feel like it'll be a nice one to go into spring with, just a nice cozy fantasy book, and it's got a little bit of romance apparently as well, so yeah, I think it'd be really cute. So that's the Encyclopedia of Fairies, if you can see it with the foiling. And then the next one, which is Map of the Other Lands, here we go, I have no idea about and I don't really want to read the back or look into it too much because it is part of a series. It's the next book in the series, so I want to go into it blind. I don't want to read anything about it that might give spoilers for the first one, but I do know that the third book in the series is coming out this year, so I'd like to read both of them before the third one comes out. I just feel like they're going to be such nice cozy reads, and as well they are beautiful. Look at those spines, if you can see them. Is it focusing? The foiling and the covers, I'll show you again, they're just such beautiful covers. So yeah, I had to pick those 2 up. So we've got Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies and Map of the Other Lands. So they are the only fantasy books I got. Now into romance. I think it's so funny that I've got so many romance books because I've read one romance book before and it's up on my shelf here. It's The Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I really want to get into romance this year, as I said, so I've picked up quite a few, and they're probably all titles you've heard before, but where better to start than with people's favourites. So the first one I got is actually a YA romance, and it is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. The reason I got this one is because every single time I see someone mention this on YouTube, they just say it's so cute and they just look so happy talking about it. The way they speak about it gives me the feeling of how I felt when I read Divine Rivals, where it was just such a cute little romance that it makes you giddy, makes you happy. And from the way everyone looks when they're reviewing it, I think it really is going to fill that void for me and give me that feeling again. And I only picked up the first book, but there is another book out called Nothing Like the Movies, I think. And I've heard Lynn Painter has quite a few similar like YA romances. If I like this one, I'll definitely pick up those ones. But we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. And then next up we have a book by Ali Hazelwood. So I'm sure you've all heard of Ali Hazelwood. A lot of people love her STEM romances. It's like women in like science and technology and things like that. But the one I've picked up is Check and Mate. And as you can tell by the cover and by the name, this is based around chess. So I think the main girl is like a professional chess player. So I think it might be a bit different to her usual books then, where the women are quite academic. But I just thought this one might be a bit more fun because it's based around chess. And if you watched, what's that program on Netflix? The Queen's Gambit. So when I saw this, I kind of thought it might be like Queen's Gambit vibes, which I really enjoyed, where she's like a professional chess player. I can't remember if there's a romance in that. But yeah, she was a professional chess player and it was a really good series. It's not something that I think I'd be interested in watching or reading like about chess. That was really good. So I have really high hopes for this one and really high hopes for Ali Hazelwood. I did read her little Christmas novella that was released through Amazon, which was Cruel Winter with You. And I didn't rate it too highly, but that's just because it was a novella. I don't think novellas are really for me if it's like a standalone book. I feel like novellas are best placed in series to give you like a bit more behind characters and stuff. It just didn't have enough time to like go into the characters or build a storyline for me. So I really wanted to try one of her full romance books instead and went for Check and Mate. And it's just such a cute book cover as well. They are all so cute, aren't they? Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. And it's really funny because the only thing that I have heard about Ali Hazelwood is that the men are all really tall, and from the cover as well I can tell this man is already towering over her, isn't he? So yeah, Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I don't know why I keep doing this. I'm just trying to build a collection, aren't I, really? Like, I've got new bookshelves, I'm gonna be organising them, and I just feel like there's some books, some like staples that make the base of a collection, and Ali Hazelwood, Sarah Maas, Ashley Poston, like I just feel like there's certain authors that make a good base for a collection, and they're all books that I definitely want to read as well. But Emily Henry, I've already bought 2 of her books up here. I have a mirror in front of me. So I have Beach Read and Happy Place up here. And have I read any of her books? No, but I do own 2 of them and I've heard really good things about all of her books. She had a new one, Funny Story, which was released in 2024, which had really good reviews, and she has a new one, A Big Beautiful Life I think it's called, coming out this year. So before that one's released this year, I want to read at least 2 or 3 of her books and then read the new one when it's released. So all that to say, I picked up another Emily Henry book. So we have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. And her UK covers are just so pretty and they all will look so nice together. I think this one is about 2 people who work in like the book profession, book world, like a publisher or something like that. And I think we follow the main girl, who is like a big city girl who goes to a small town or a seaside town, something along those lines, and she bumps into this guy, I guess, or she keeps bumping into this guy, and a romance commences. I think it's like a Grumpy Sunshine book. I think he might not be too happy to keep bumping into her, or she's not too happy to keep bumping into him. There's something along those lines. I just thought it'd be a really cute romance, and I've heard that Emily Henry does romance so well, and that just sounds like such a cute storyline. So I think that's what that's about. So that's Book Lovers by Emily Henry. And then last up we have 3 books, which are all part, they're in the wrong order, one moment. We have 3 books, I've still put them in the wrong order, one moment. Okay, we have 3 books by another romance author that I'm sure you've heard of, Abby Jimenez. So I picked up her Part of Your World series. They are standalone interconnected books. So they're standalone books, but they're all based in the same world, I believe. So some of the characters in the first book might appear in later books, something along those lines. You can read them in any order, but I will be reading them in order just because of that. Abby Jimenez, Part of Your World series. This is what they look like together. The last one, just for the summer, came out in 2024 and everyone was raving about it. So I can't wait to read that one. So first up is Part of Your World. This is the first book in the series. This one, I believe, is again big city girl who goes to a small town, and I believe the love interest is a carpenter. So that kind of classic Hallmark storyline, big city girl, small town boy. But the difference with this one is I believe there's a big age gap. He's 10 years younger than her, and I've just seen on the front there's a little goat, and I think I have seen reviews that mention this goat quite a bit. He must have a little pet goat or something, which is really cute. Yeah, so that's all I really know about this one, not much, and I don't really want to find out more. I just want to go into it as blind as I can. That's Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. And then the next one in the series is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Is Yours Truly. And this one, all I've really heard about it is that it's quite a sweet romance, and there is some letter writing involved, which I love. As a lover of Divine Rivals, I just really love that like letter writing, seeing them put their thoughts to paper. I just think it's really sweet when they write letters to each other. And I also think our love interest has anxiety in this one. Apparently that's why it's quite sweet, just the way she helps him with that, the way she tries to understand what he's going through. Yeah, it just sounds really cute, so I'm looking forward to reading that one too. I'm looking forward to reading all of these books, as you can tell. But that's Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. And then the final book in the series is Just for the Summer, which is the one that I'm most excited to read. Here you go. So I think the idea of this one is that both the main male character and the main female character both believe that they're cursed, that everyone they date eventually breaks up with them and goes on to meet their soulmate. So they end up finding each other, and I think they come up with this plan where if they date each other, they should break the curse, because when they each break up with each other, they will then each go on to find their soulmate. It's a romance. I'm thinking I can kind of guess how it's going to end. It just sounds like such a fun idea for a romance book, so I can't wait to get to this one. And she also has another book coming out this year, which I think is called Say You'll Remember Me. I'll put it on screen here in case I'm wrong. That's coming out this year, so I'd like to read all 3 of these before the new one comes out. So that's Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer. Look how cute they look together as well. I feel like I've said cute so many times in this video, but they are all romances, aren't they? So I'm hoping they're all very cute. So that's all the books that I bought in Waterstones. We have 9 books in total, 6 romance and 3 fantasy. So let me just show you them all. Oh, there you go. How nice do they all look together? But they'll all be going up on my shelves behind me, and one of the next videos you'll see from me is me organising these shelves. So now that I have quite a nice little collection of books, I'm really looking forward to organising these shelves. And I also have to stop buying books for a little while because I now have quite a few that I own but have not read. I want to get through as many of these as I can before buying any more, but there were a couple that I was after that I wasn't able to find in Waterstones, so if I do see those, I'll grab them. But for the most part, definitely reduce my book buying for a little while at least. So I hope you enjoyed this video today, coming with me around London and looking at the books that I bought. Let me know down below if you've read any of these, which were your favourites, which should I get to first. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.